sucks. You spend all this time creating a website and nobody ever goes to it. Or if they do go to it, they leave right away. So why doesn't your website work? This video will tell you why. Subscribe to my channel, get all kinds of business ideas, copy recommendations, and awesome ways to do this yourself. My name is Joy Yule from Hire a Writer. I am the lead content strategist, and I help brands like yours write better websites, write better emails, write better ads, write better blogs. It's time to write copy that converts. Let's start with your website. In my experience working with hundreds of brands, there are two common ways people think about the internet. One, the internet is out to get you. You're gonna have to do PPC campaigns. You're gonna have to pay an SEO strategist. Nobody's ever gonna find your website. It's basically like a black hole of effort and dreams. And then other people think the website is like this magical, wonderful place where anything can happen and anyone can make a business and make millions of dollars if they just do everything right. The answer is yes. The internet is kind of both. And the way that you craft a website absolutely impacts whether or not people will find it. So I have found there are 10 common problems, 10 reasons your website may not be working. Let's go through them. Number one, there are no SEO keywords on your website. So how do you know if there are SEO keywords on your website? I linked a couple of resources in the blog. Basically, you just have to run a search on your website and figure out if you have actually written, accidentally or on purpose, any relevant SEO keywords. So when you do SEO keywords, you have to pick things that are relevant to the traffic level of your site, and these are the things that help you get found. So a lot of people will think, oh, I have a branded site. It's all about the story of who we are, and it doesn't really matter if we have SEO keywords, plus I don't like the way they sound. Okay, that's fine, but nobody will ever find your website. So if you're experiencing really low traffic and you have this really high integrity idea that you should never use SEO keywords, there may be something in the gap there that's affecting you. Number two is a poor user experience. This is often abbreviated UX by people like me. User experience. So think about how somebody encounters your website. Somebody who doesn't know who you are, doesn't know what you do. If you get a totally cold lead on your website, do you know, does every button work? Do you have forms set up that work correctly? Does the navigation make sense? The best way to do this is to get a third party, somebody, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, to go through, click on every button, go to every single page, scroll it, make sure nothing's broken or messed up. Because the thing is, people are gonna give you like 3 seconds in order to have something useful come out of your website. If they don't get it, they're out. So how is the user experience on your website? Number three is style over substance. This happens especially with lifestyle brands, life coaches, people who are really passionate about their niche in the marketplace. Sometimes you will end up over-designing your site. Not every icon needs to wiggle. Not everything needs to have the drop shadow that makes it a little bit hard to see on mobile, right? Think about the font choices you make. It's really easy to want to have something that looks super unique, but is it really readable? And is it readable for people of all ages? How about the color? Are you putting a tan background and white text on top of it? That might not be super readable. So you need to consider how you can compromise at times with the style you're going for and the actual usability of your site. Because if you don't, people are not gonna stay. Number four is bad navigation. So navigation is that little bar at the top, or it should be. If you don't have that at all, you've probably got a bigger problem, but you have a navigation bar that has the list of all of your main website pages. This can be a problem when it comes to using your website. Because if you have too many options, first of all, that's a problem. So I have some colleagues who think you should top off at 3. Like you should have only 3 core web pages people can go to. I'd say maybe somewhere between 3 to 5, okay? But people will get spoiled for choice. They will get choice paralysis and not know where to go or what to do. So if you have too many options, that's a problem. The second problem is if you have weird page titles. People expect to see things like home, about, services, contact, right? If you're using really unique titles for things like learn the dream or join our robust team, or just things that are a little bit abstract, a little bit proprietary, people aren't going to know what they mean and they're not going to be able to navigate your website. The last thing I would say from a navigation standpoint is if you have submenus, it can be a real problem, especially on mobile, which over 90% of the people who come to your site are probably coming from a mobile device. If you have the hover feature in your navigation where people can go over it and then they have like 6 choices beneath, that's confusing and it's hard to use. So fix your navigation issues. It will help your website traffic. Number 5 is slow load time or site errors. So you can easily learn from your web developer or whoever's overseeing things if you have errors on your website. This is broken links. This is when somebody goes to a website and it's like, and it's taking forever to load. Guess what? They're gone, they're out, right? That's a high bounce rate waiting to happen. Sometimes this is as easy as downsizing your images. So if you have downloaded stock photos from like Shutterstock, Canva, Pixie, any of these outlets, you're gonna typically get a pretty high file size, like 4,000 pixels or something. If you do and you don't downsize it, that adds up real fast. And for the average person who's using either their data or a Wi-Fi connection, they're like downloading previews of all those image files to get to your site. It's gonna take too long. People aren't gonna stay. So fix any broken links, work on the actual how heavy and how meaty all of your content is on your site to make sure it's small enough to be downloaded and seen quickly. Also, you don't need 4,000 pixels on a tiny little phone screen, right? So just think about that, because if you're worried about poor image quality, probably not a problem. Make sure you don't have broken things on your site. Number 6 is having a brand-centric versus customer-centric site. So if you are finding you are having very few website visitors, or visitors are not filling out forms, visitors are not staying on your site, it could be that they don't see what's in it for them, right? So I actually interviewed a colleague named Nicole Hart in a different video called Teach Me How that you can see on my channel, but she talked a lot about who is the hero of your website. The hero of your website is not you, right? Customers don't really care about like your existential journey into starting this business, okay? Not to say you shouldn't share that, because maybe some do, but for the most part, when a customer lands on your website, they wanna know, what's in it for me? How is this gonna make my life easier, better? How is this meeting a need or addressing a pain point in my life? If that is not, that kind of copy and messaging isn't front and center in your website, then you are probably not gonna have high interest. People just aren't gonna stick around because they wanna know what's in it for them. All right, I'm gonna get to the last few in a second, but first of all, deep breath. It may be that you've already noticed that some of these are a problem on your site. Don't worry. I'm talking about these because they are common problems, and none of these are crazy overhaul, recode the whole farm fixes. These are all simple things that you can address and fix on your website to improve traffic. You got this. Number 7, no CTA on your site. Call to action. Somebody gets to your site, they're reading the brand story, they're seeing what problems you solve, and there's nothing for them to do, okay? Don't overestimate your website visitors. They don't want to spend time reading a novel, and they don't want to spend a lot of time nosing around. They want to know how to do something, how to get more information, how to schedule a free consultation. CTA should be simple, sweet, short, to the point. Learn more. Go here. Fill out this form. Click now. Schedule this, okay? It needs to be like really short, really simple, and it has to be really obvious, and it has to be on every page, okay? So if they don't have a way to interact, your conversion rate is gonna be super low because nobody's gonna go hunting through all of your website pages to figure out where the form is, okay? They're gonna scroll to the footer, see if there's any contact us information. If they don't find it, they're out. So make it really easy. Show them exactly which doors you want them to go through, and then put a blinking light over the door. Number 8 is too many conversion paths. So some of you guys got no CTAs, some of you guys have too many, right? It's like going to a shoe store right now. Like there's too many options for people. There's too many ways for them. Download this freebie, schedule a free consultation, contact us, learn more, read the white paper, join us on social. If there are so many conversion paths, first of all, it's gonna dilute your data. You're not gonna really know the best way that people are interacting with your brand because there's just so many choices, right? And it also causes that choice paralysis we talked about before, where people encounter it and they're simply unsure what in the world they actually want or need. So you need to simplify the conversion paths. You guys need to get on the same page as a team, decide on 2 or 3 common CTAs that you set up, and then a couple of forms at most, maybe a free download and then a straight up contact form, just to give people fewer options. Number 9, no value proposition. Okay, so this is like at the heart of your marketing effort. How are you unmissable? How are you must have? How are you an essential item or service that somebody needs in their life? That value proposition, how you propose to add value to somebody's life, has to be a huge part of your copy. It needs to happen early in your website, and it needs to be obvious to people. How are you going to improve people's lives? And then number 10 is just bad site health. Maybe you have 404s, you have broken links, you have code issues, you have unmatched titles, you just have things in your site infrastructure that a web developer needs to look at and fix. Because if your site is loading slowly, and if your site is not working and people are encountering issues, oops, this doesn't work, oops, that doesn't work, they're not going to give you that many tries. So if you're finding that your website traffic is really low, these are the things that you need to audit. All right, so these were the 10 most common things that I think could be wrong with your website that are decreasing your potential to grab new customers and to get better traffic. I understand that all of this can be overwhelming. There are plenty of ways to find answers. Hit me up in the comments, feel free. I will talk back to you and give you ideas, let you know what I think it could be, or give you some direction of how to find answers yourself. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to get regular videos every Sunday night that give you business ideas to write copy that converts new leads. If you're interested in growing your business through increasing your digital footprint and having a great content strategy, I recommend watching this video on the pieces of written content that every business needs.